Hello peeps, well I'm through Barrow, through Quorn, heading towards Swidland now. So I found a YouTuber called Dave Drew a couple of weeks ago now. Now Dave was talking about retirement, and he's at 65 and he's actually retired slightly early because he's had enough. Now, as some of you already know, I took early retirement at the age of 63, and like I say, I'm 66 this July. And listening to Dave and seeing some of the comments from other people, I think we're all of the same ilk, aren't we? Yeah, we've grafted our backsides off for years. Yeah, some of us have really put some time in, got to a ripe old age where we believe right now it's time for me to relax and take my time. But every time we get anywhere near retirement age nowadays, the politicians suddenly decide that they want to increase the age because there's not the money in the pot, because they've gone and pissed it all up the wall. Excuse my French, but that's the honest truth, isn't it? They have done, they've pissed up the wall. Now what annoys me most of all about the fact of these people that say that people like us have got to carry on working basically until we keel over and die, and then once we do that, as I found out through my mother-in-law's partner, the money that he'd saved all those years, the government want 40% of that as well. Yeah, because he's died. What a joke, eh? You work all your life, you save, or you've been told to save money all your life, you know, for that retirement and everything like that. And Paul invested money. He came out, as it turns out, there was a lot of money. But instead of it going to his partner, my mother-in-law, the government want to steal 40% of it in death duties. Makes you laugh, doesn't it? Yeah. But like I say, these politicians, civil servants and all that, they can actually retire on a civil servant's pension, yeah, at the age of 55. Hold on a minute. You know, how come you lot that are telling us that we've got to carry on to work until we basically keel over can retire at 55, and the rest of us have got to keep stringing it out? Yeah, joke, isn't it? Absolute joke. So Dave's channel talks about retirement and things. Like I say, I took early retirement at 63. You know, when you get to the stage in your life where you're sick and tired of talking to idiots, and if you don't retire, you're going to end up getting a sack, because you're either going to say something or do something that will get you the sack. And that's where I ended up. People that supposedly more educated than me, that just didn't understand simple instructions after being told 2, 3, 4, half a dozen times or more. Yeah, but also companies. Company I worked for when I left, we were heavily involved in the COVID vaccine. We actually supplied all the equipment to AstraZeneca and Pfizer to produce the COVID vaccine. And instead of the company looking at it and going, oh, that was a good year, yeah, as a one-off, because it was a one-off. Unless it happens again, well, with all these other viruses that are flying around, you never know, do you? Because we haven't learnt any lessons there, have we? You know, we're bringing these boats in to areas, and people are probably going to get contracted with these other viruses as well. We haven't learnt a lesson at all. But like I say, they were involved in it, big profits, huge profits. yeah, as you can well imagine. And then the following year, it was a case of they wanted to increase the profits. Instead of looking at it as being a one-off, now what we'll do is we'll look at increasing the profits that we did last year. Well, it was never going to happen. Yeah, because unless AstraZeneca and Pfizer were actually developing something else, that was never going to happen. But businesses are like that, isn't it? It's always, yeah, but we need more, we need more. Supermarkets are a classic example. They go on about the fact of the living crisis and everything like that, and each time something happens they increase the prices of stuff. But they increase the prices of stuff and then lay people off. Now, one of the things is the old self-service tills. I flatly refuse to use a self-service till. Do you know why? All the time I'm using the till where there's someone sat at it, I'm hopefully keeping that person in a job. Yeah, and I don't care what the shareholders and that think, because at the end of the day they don't care about you. Yeah, all they think about is themselves and their big dividends at the end of the year. So have a think about that one. But like I say, if you're looking at retirement, yeah, or taking early retirement, if you can afford to do it, my advice is strongly yes. Now I took early retirement. I've now been retired 3 years and I'm doing so much stuff, I'm probably more busy than when I was working. But you know what, I'm enjoying life. And at the age of, like I say, nearly 66, I think I've got the right to enjoy my life. Yeah, not graft my backside off because there's someone else that's a greedy git. I was talking to someone today and we were talking about how the world is and everything. And I said to her about all these billionaires. Yeah, makes you laugh, doesn't it? Billionaires. You could not spend all those billions if you tried in your lifetime. Yeah, but there they are, sat in their ivory towers, yeah, with all this money, and the world's in a shit place. Yeah, you see it on the TV all the time, all these charities asking for donations, yeah, to save the children and do this and do that and do the other. Well, how about all these billionaires stick around in their pockets and share out $1 million, say. If we say share out $1 million to start with, yeah, and help all these people that are struggling, all these charities that are struggling. Lisa used to work for Loros and took early redundancy, back in December. The reason she took redundancy was to try and save someone else's job, especially with the nurses on the wards. And I know that Loros, the hospice in Leicestershire, is still struggling. Yeah, they've closed down beds, they've had to do all sorts, because they're not funded by the NHS at all. It's all privately funded through a charity. So when Lisa took redundancy, she decided that she'd go and do a little bit of work, voluntary work, in another charity in a little village near us. Unfortunately, that charity is now folded as well. Now that's a charity that had been around for around about 150 years. Yeah, but they're struggling. And she ended up, she's now, the shop has been taken over by Age UK, and she's now volunteering in there. But again, we're getting by. You know, we're getting by with the money that we've got, and she's enjoying it. But like I say, Lisa's 11 years younger than me. So, you know, the way the government's going, she's going to end up working until she's 90 odd or whatever. Because all they do is when you get near to that pension age, they suddenly shift the goalposts, don't they? But I notice they don't shift the goalposts, yeah, when it comes to their wage increase and everything like that. That's what makes me annoyed. And why, for me, politicians, I wouldn't trust one of them. Yeah. When do you know that a politician's lying? His mouth moves. And then you get the world leaders, don't you? Mr. Tango himself, Mr. Dorito has been, sorry, Dan Seeley calls him Mr. Dorito. Turns out him and his family, before they kicked off this whole Iran war, were investing in drones and oil and stuff like that. Can't tell me that's a coincidence, not a chance. That shows how corrupt the political system of today is. Yeah. Oops, nearly fell off. So I'm just going over a style. But yeah, so if you are looking at retirement, have a look at your finances, and if you can, take it, do it. Yeah, it's going to be one of the best things you've ever done. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys get on. You take care of yourselves. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider it. Not telling you what to do, we don't do that on this channel, do we? No, we don't. But if you do consider subscribing, just drop me a note and let me know who you are and where you're from. Good morning, my love. But, let me know where you're from. And I like to reply to my subscribers.
Right.
Good morning, boss. How we doing?
Good to you.
Hey, it's nice weather, isn't it?
Lovely.
Isn't it nice when you get people that interact with you, eh? That's what I do on my channel. I like to try and interact with my subscribers. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Yeah, nice little friendly word. Yeah, gives you a lot of confidence in yourself. Anyway, I'm now heading down to Swiddy Reservoir. We'll normally have a break. Yeah, take some food in, some water, and then tab on into home. Now hopefully this new track that the quarry have put in place is now open. I hope it is, because I want to try and get over it and see what it's like. One, to map the route, and two, show you wonderful people, yeah, what the countryside around Leicestershire's like. So anyway, you take care of yourselves. I'll catch up with you soon. And as me and Keith always say, let's tab.